Right here, I'm good. Check 1, 2, cool. Well, it's been amazing. Actually, 2 years ago was one of my first times at A3C, and I was just one of the artists that was here trying to network and soak up information. A few months ago, there was a vote for A3C that voted artists into a showcase, and I was fortunately enough, I was voted in by fans to be on A3C. So to go from 2 years ago, just kind of being around here, collecting information, networking with people, to now being actually a part of the event, I mean, it has made this experience kind of not full circle, but just a little bit further on the path than I was 2 years ago, man. So it's been a great experience. Man, music has been a part of my life. As with most musicians, music has been a part of my life for the entire duration of it so far. I got into it when I was 13, right? My cousin Issa, aka Faluz Viral, he was playing Nas's It Was Written album. And I don't know if you remember that album, but it's a classic hip hop album. And I was listening to it and I was like, man, I can do that. You know, I think I can do it at that level, which is reaching for the stars, but I knew I could do it. Started getting into writing songs. I wasn't just you have different levels of rap artists. You have a verse writer, you have a guy that just writes punchlines, you have battle rappers. I knew I was a songwriter and musician. I also grew up a big fan of Michael Jackson, so the songs and concepts and structures became really, I was fascinated by them. So I started writing songs. I released my first album. I was still in high school. I was in 10th grade, and I bought a separate locker. Like I said, I was in 10th grade. I bought a separate locker and filled it with CDs. And I went through the school selling CDs and sold out. I got to the very last one, and the principal called me into his office, and I was suspended for soliciting on campus. However, that very last CD went to the principal that suspended me. And, that kind of let me know that, hey, I have a career in this. And since then, it's been a trajectory that's been like that for me, man. It's been awesome. I don't know that I had any crazy preconceived notions. It just was a lot of things that you confront and a lot of obstacles that, ready or not, they're coming. You know what I mean? Different potholes on your path. You're gonna show up to some shows and there's gonna be 2 people there, 3 people there. You're gonna show up to some shows and there's gonna be 100, 200 people there. You're gonna have some, things that look very promising that when you actually get to them, they're not going to be as promising as you thought they would be. And you really just kind of always got to make it work for you. They need to be lessons and not losses. So I don't know that that's a preconceived notion. I don't know that actually answers your question right, but that's what it kind of tells me, that before I went into it, I didn't know all of these obstacles and hurdles I would have to jump through. But fortunately enough, I prepared myself through them, from one to the other, and it's led me to build a pretty solid, foundation and structure to this point. Well, it was being able to transition and knowing that you have to transition with the times. I think I was talking to you right before this and letting you know that in 2011, I had released my first single through TuneCore. Prior to that, we were just pulling up and selling CDs out of the trunk. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, selling CDs out of my locker. So going through that transitional period of knowing, okay, we're not actually physically selling CDs anymore. You gotta put them on, the digital market and be able to sell them that way, and then transform your marketing into that, into that aspect. So, and it's been just a consistent, process of transitioning with the times. In order to be an artist, especially in hip hop goes and comes very quick when it comes to fads, trends, and everything. So in order for you to stay consistent and stay relevant in hip hop, you have to be able to transition through 1 year to the next, from one day to the next almost. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, just being able to transition has been the main thing for me with that. As you say that, I'm looking at my team that's standing behind you. Right now, my brother C Notes, who is another artist, but he's always there to back me up as I'm there to back him up. I performed on A3C this year. He was not a part of the bill, but he was on stage with me to back me up. My cousin Issa, aka Faluz Viral, right there. He's holding my cell phone. He's making sure that my fashion is up to par and everything is good, because he is in that state of mind. my manager, David Collins, holding another camera and a phone in his hand right now, making sure we capture all this footage, making sure I'm in place where I need to be. Things are, making sure that I don't have to stress about things that happen. So all those obstacles that I was talking about in a few questions ago, the less I have to stress and worry about those things, the more I can focus on being the artist, being great, and doing what it is I'm supposed to do so it comes off to the fans correctly. Again, shout out to my man Streets. And then most recently, I've been an artist performing for a very long time, but I just have acquired my very own DJ, which in hip hop is so important. Something as small as my flash drive that has my music on it. I was joking with the DJ, shout out to him, follow the DJ. I used to always leave my flash drives at shows. So I would show up to the show with my flash drive, and then I would leave and I don't got my daggone flash drive anymore. Well, now I always leave it with him, so I call him the next day. Yo, you got my flash drive? I got it, man, I got it. So again, that's just a solid team, man, and having that around, God, you can't put a value on that. You can't put a price on it. What I was doing for a living, I was working in a school system, in a high school where I was mentoring young kids, okay? So to write music that's conscious, some conscious hip hop, and also be living that day to day in a 9 to 5, it really didn't make the process difficult for me, because whatever I saw and was teaching a teenager, I then went and put into the music. Of course, music is marketed directly to teenagers, so mine just went hand in hand. So it really wasn't difficult for me, and still isn't difficult for me, because I still do that. I also was coaching high school basketball, and being able to take the team aspect of basketball, metaphors and everything, and associate that into the music and maneuvering, it was really, placed in my lap and was a very good situation for me. Shout out to Randolph Henry High School and Millbrook High School, which were the two schools that I've been in the hallways and made an influence on with teenagers, and also have helped me grow my career, because those are the ones that bought the music. When I made the transition over to TuneCore and the digital aspect of music, the first thing the teenagers are asking you, well, where can I find you at? And when they flip out their phone and they can find you on Tidal, Spotify, Apple Music, and all their social media, it's like, you're stamped with them. So my advice is simply, dopeness has no expiration. When you are dope at what you do, that will supersede and transition through all times. A lot of times artists get caught in whatever fad is right here, right now, and they lose sight of what they were, they came into it doing, and what their end goal is. My cousin Issues, who's a legendary artist in the underground, went to see Big Daddy Kane the other day. And he was amazed at how Big Daddy Kane could still do what he did 30 years ago, and people still desired to see him do it. Big Daddy Kane was known for rapping, keeping the flow, but also having dance steps into his hip hop, which, is not very common in hip hop. At least for his era, it wasn't very common in hip hop. But again, he has lasted through decades just by being dope. For me, personally, I came into hip hop writing stories, being dope lyrically, finding the right beats, finding the right, instruments, and finding the right hooks and things that resonated directly with people. That made me relevant then, and it makes me relevant to this day. So again, my advice strongly to every artist that I talk to, know what you wanted coming in, know where you want to be going out, and stick with that through the process, because you get caught up into the fads and the things that are here right now, and those come and go quick, especially in hip hop. Social media is huge, obviously, as everybody knows. Everybody I'm talking to right now knows social media is huge for your brand. Some people, the first thing they do when they wake up, before they get a washcloth and a toothbrush, they check their phones and see what's going on, what's new on social media. You have to put yourself in that lane. So for me, what I have done, to answer the first part of your question, I make sure that there's always cameras rolling, because you never know when you're going to be stopped and somebody says, hey, I know who you are, or hey, I heard that song, or hey, I saw you. You need all of those things captured. All of your interactions, all of your shows, all of your day-to-day events. Life has really become a reality show for artists. You need to capture all of that, and then you need to go through that and find which clips you want to properly put out there to portray who you are as an artist and as an individual, because both are important. And then, like I said, just put it in the lane. For me, I always try to make sure that I'm on whatever new social media is out. TikTok is big right now. So, you know, I have a daughter that does TikTok. She TikToks all day, okay? Y'all are on TikTok, I need to be in that space. Snapchat, I need to be in that space. You know, Facebook, a lot of new artists try to get away from Facebook because people of a certain age, you know, their parents are on Facebook. So what? You want to sell music to them too, you know? So be on Facebook, be on Instagram, be on Twitter, be everywhere. But what you also don't want to do is you don't want to oversaturate your social media. You want your stuff to last, you know, for a good period of time. So if I post this today, you know, I have a clip right now of all these bright lights, this pretty, you know, backdrop behind me. I want to post this and then let it run for a little while before I post the next thing. So if I happen to grab another clip from later today, I just store it in my phone and save it for tomorrow. And I'll post it tomorrow. Even though it happened today, it constantly looks as if I'm always busy, which I am, but it just doesn't oversaturate the market or oversaturate your social media. You know, you gotta be very strategic. It's a fine line between putting too much out there and not putting enough out there, you know what I mean? For me, it's big because of the type of music I make. It's very personable music. It's about real life things that happen to real life people. So the only way for me to market and sell that is by tapping directly into people. So I'm always out and about, you know, in the city I live in, Raleigh, that I'm very well known in. I'm out often in the public's face. You know, I'm touching the people that I'm talking about in my music because I gotta know how they react, how their emotions are, how they feel about these things. And then also let them know that, hey, this music is available. You know, I'm also a businessman, I'm here to sell music. So if you're writing all this music and doing all this music and the people don't know that it's available, then you're not really doing your job as a businessman. You know what I mean? You got a car lot there, but you're not going out to customers to sell your cars. It's pointless. So for me, it has always worked being personable with the people. I'm a big coffee drinker, right? And some people joke sometimes and say I make coffee shop hip hop. All right? Well, guess where I hang out at? The coffee shop. And I let those people know this music exists. I shot my first promo for my EP that I have out right now, titled 5 Mics, that I released through TuneCore. And I shot the promo for it in a coffee shop. You know, I attached to that coffee shop. I sat in there with everyday people that sit in that coffee shop, promoted it through that coffee shop's social media page, and it did very well initially with coffee drinkers because that's who I am. So the people that I was talking to could relate to it. So it's big for me. It means everything. It means I am in control of what I said earlier, what I wanted to be coming in and what I want to be going out of it. I control all of my creativity. If I don't want to make a song for the strip clubs, I don't have to make a song for the strip clubs. If I want to make a song for the coffee shop, I make a song for the coffee shop. If I don't want to do a show in Minnesota, I don't do the show in Minnesota. If I want to do a show in Omaha, I do a show in Omaha. I mean, it puts you in control of everything that you want to do and what you want to portray. If I don't want to be up here with a t-shirt on that says Coors Light, I don't have to do that. If I don't want to be in my videos smoking weed and throwing a bunch of money around, I don't have to do that. If I want to do it, then I can do that. It just puts you in control of every aspect, and even your team, my manager. If my manager suggests something that he thinks is going to be beneficial to me, but I don't think so, at the end of the day, we're going to listen to each other because we're a team and we work with each other. But if I don't want to do it, I don't have to do it. You know what I mean? So just being in control. If I want to release an album tomorrow, I can release the album tomorrow. I don't have to wait for the label to say, oh, where's the hit record on it? This is the hit record on it. Because I said it is, and we're going to push it as if it is the hit record on it. So it's just being in control of yourself, man. And of course, again, you know, I give a lot of shout outs to TuneCore because TuneCore has made that possible for independent artists to be in control of your own destiny. You know what I'm saying? Set your own goals and be in control and be in charge of yourself. Be your own boss. It means everything. TuneCore has been great to me. Okay, I started with TuneCore in 2011 when I was making that transition of selling physical CDs to telling people to pull out your phone and put my album right on your phone. For every artist right now, there are so many, you know, you got, I'm not gonna name them, but you have so many other music services that I'm gonna be honest with you, I flirted with. Even after I started with TuneCore, I flirted with blank service and blank service and blank service. I was treated best at TuneCore. TuneCore knew exactly what I wanted to do, and it simplified. It's almost like an iPhone. You know, you can get this Android that has all these bells and whistles, and you can do, you know, you can almost move the moon with an Android. But iOS simplifies it, and it tells you exactly what you need to do and puts you exactly where you need to be. TuneCore did that for me, and I've always been successful. I've never failed with TuneCore. You know, anytime I've released something, it's always released on time because I followed what they told me to do. They say, hey, you know, upload your stuff 3 weeks in advance. Promote and put your stuff out and let people know it's coming. Well, if I say it's going to release January 24th, it's out there and it's available January 24th. So, man, I really could be a strong spokesman for TuneCore because I believe in it, not because it's, you know, I'm not BSing you. It's done me very well, you know what I mean? It's put me in a very good place where I'm able to sit in this chair now, where I'm able to perform for A3C, where I'm able to be on stages with, you know, and be in the realm of people like CeeLo Green, Nas, Lauryn Hill, Beanie Siegel, Freeway. TuneCore has made all of that, you know, an option for me. It has taken my music from just being dope in my hands and allowed me to spread that dope to everybody else. So, big shout out to TuneCore. I appreciate y'all.